Praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of Dream Must Rule Well. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Now, I want to start off, the video with this little video here. This was done.
Instagram. So a lot of people have been DMing me and asking me why I prefer black women. Let's break it down. If you see my account, you'll know the stuff I like to talk about. A lot of sociology. In my experience, I have better conversations about that with black women. That's because it affects them. It doesn't affect white women as much. They don't think about it. Also, black women don't have an issue with my friends. I've had multiple white girls be like, why do you hang out with so many black people? That's because black people don't ask me dumb questions like that. Black women seem to genuinely care and want me to do better. So I don't feel that comfortable around white people. I feel like black people laugh with me and white people laugh at me.
I love it. I think
Now, before Charlemagne the demon starts waffling off his mouth, we will understand that it's spiritual. This is why in Matthew 13:30 it says, I'm going to start at 13:27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Now, this is really talking about, when the elect are going to be gathered up, into the chariots, and the tares get burned, because at the end of the day, you're going to be looking at some of these quote unquote Negroes, and you're thinking they're kin to you because of their physical looks, but spiritually, they're tares. I remember having a conversation with a Jake, and you could just tell this guy was carnal, man. And I remember, talking about the so-called interactions between so-called white people and black people, and it was like, at the end of the day, we're all the same. Now, he had a real kumbaya, coon spirit, and Jake can be in that spirit, but like from my dealings with him, he just seemed he seemed like a tear, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I don't know. This is why the Lord has to do the gathering, because he could just be a confused, bugged out of his mind Jake, in the same sense that the guy that we just saw, spiritually speaking, he could be a Jake, he could be a wheat, but he looks like a tear. We don't know these things, but you have to judge things spiritually. At the end of the day, I had a Jake woman tell me, all white people are the same, and we all know that you're not supposed to trust your enemies. None of them. If they entreat you, a lot of the time it's because the Lord has put the spirit on them, and yeah, that they are the wicked. Collectively, they are the wicked. So there really is none of them that's good, but the Lord uses them for good, even though they don't do it reluctantly. In the same way that you see a lot of these E's who go into a country, give 10 million in AIDS, but they don't talk about the fact that they're stealing billions worth of resources, billions, trillions worth of resources. You only perceive one thing, but another thing is being done. This is why a lot of times you have to look at things from a spiritual perspective. You have to think logically and you have to think critically. So unless the Lord really puts that spirit on you, you're gonna condemn everybody by their looks and justify everybody by their looks, not really by their spirit and their actions. And we know this is a spiritual thing because it says here in Numbers 1:18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their posts. And whenever you go through the genealogy, it's done through it's done through the fathers. It always talks about your forefathers. It doesn't talk about your foremothers. Even when it talks about the 12 tribes of Israel, from Dan to Judah, it always talks about their forefathers as the progenitors. It doesn't even mention Dinah. It mentions Dinah as a side note. It doesn't deal with her genealogy because the seed is not through the father. You don't get the seed from the land, which is what the woman is representative of. The husband is representative of the man who sows the seed. This is Genesis 28:2, and this is when what should I say, Esau, the original Esau, was given Rebecca and Isaac headache because he married Canaanitish women, and Rebecca was telling Jake I'm gonna start here, 28 Genesis 28:2, arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And I'm gonna start here, Genesis 28:1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, because they were in the spirit of the Canaanites, so they were completely off. They were probably disrespectful, probably dirty as hell. You deal with a lot of these quote unquote Africans. A lot of them are actually dirty. Even some of our people are bugged out because they've taken on the customs of the heathen, so they're just nasty as hell. When I personally went to Africa, I saw the dirtiest stuff, and even when I go around, some of my family members, but I don't know where the hell they come from, but some of them are just bugged out, man. You be seeing doo-doo on their toilets and stuff, and this is really how the heathens live, when you read about Pakistani and India and stuff like that, they'll be like, as soon as you step off the airport, you can just smell shit. These people are dirty and filthy. Even before you went to before the tabernacle or the congregation of the Lord, you had to wash yourself, you had to make yourself clean. But these people don't understand cleanliness. And there's a word that says cleanliness is before godliness, but these people don't understand that spiritually, physically, or mentally. They're brain dirty, they're physically dirty, and spiritually they're just foul, man. This is Genesis 27:46. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? Because they were in the spirit of their fathers, and they were just given a headache, probably disrespectful, unclean, just a bunch of heathens. Go around the house, they got all these idols up, these little tokens and stuff like that. And Jake has taken on that spirit. I was watching one thing, MTV Cribs, and that chick Steph London, people call her, but I call her Steph London. It was going through a house, and you just saw the Buddha statue, and how people love that. I remember I used to have a person I was cool with in the world. I go around his house, he had all these little Buddha statues and idols around his home. So that's how people are. They take after the customs of the heathen. This is why you're not really meant to mingle with them. We all know the seed comes through the father, but at the same time, there's a reason why Rebecca told Jake to take a daughter from her own people, because at the end of the day, you want good land and good seed. You might have good seed and you put it in bad land, and you're still going to grow whatever fruit that you're going to grow, but it's not going to be as righteous, because at the end of the day, you're going to have these women, sitting over you. And, just to illustrate my point, I saw this, and I was like, I was completely confused as to what I'm seeing, even though I knew what it was, man. Because the customs of the heathen are really vain, and they don't understand their place. They do all of this stuff and they think they're really funny, but really and truly they're just bugged out, man. Look at this. As somebody mentioned and said, look at her hair. We all know the glory of a woman is her hair. Look at how she's treated her daughter's hair, man. Look at her, look at her. Now, you gotta imagine if Rebecca was dealing with stuff like this all day, she was probably vexing the spirit, man. She's just like, you're bugged out, man. What good shall my life do me? Because when you're around these heathens, you realize they're bugged out of their mind. This is Leviticus 24:10. And the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian went out among the children of Israel, and the son of the Israel and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. If you notice, it doesn't call it names him as the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian. So there's kind of a distinction and a standard set between the two, and it says this son of the Israelitish woman and a man strove together in the camp, and the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the son of the Lord, the name of the Lord, and cursed, and they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan, and they put him in a ward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, he basically said, stone him, take him without the camp. So take him outside of the camp and stone him. Because he was in a completely adverse spirit to everybody else who was there, because really and truly his spirit came from his father, which was an Egyptian. And this is why it says, we're really and truly, and I spoke on this on the other day, we're not meant to be hypocrites, and this society is full of hypocrites. This is Exodus 12:49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So really and truly is one law between you and the stranger, not two laws. See, what he does is he has two completely different laws that he judges people by. If you're of the same tribe as him, he goes lenient on you. And at the end of the day, the way he set up his law is meant to be interpreted however they want. There's no real standard to how they deal with their law. If you have money, you probably won't even see the judge. So these people don't have true judgment, and it's just in E's spirit to be completely adverse to Jake. I've said this before. I've had like 3 E friends, and every single one of them wanted to fight me. When I had Jake, I had good, I say good by worldly standards, they never wanted to fight me. This dude was like 15, guys like 6 foot. I'm like, yo, I reckon you could beat me up, and he's seen me fight or whatever, and he'd be like, oh, you know what, you never know. So in his spirit, he's entreated onto me. He doesn't even want to fight me. That doesn't even cross his mind as a Jake, and even me, I can say whatever, but I'm not even in the spirit to want to fight him. I'm like, yo, like, you beat me up, it's not a big deal, but when you're dealing with E, guy's some puny piece of crap, and he think he can beat you up. I remember I had this E, and he called me his friend, but I never really felt comfortable around E like that. You know them for a week, 2 weeks, and they're calling you your friend. I don't really get down like that, and they'll say all of this stuff, and then they'll try to fight you. The dude was like 6 foot something, and he thought because of that he could kick my ass. And he ended up doing something, and we had a situation, and I had to blast his face off. And the dude's calling me, talking about, don't come back to my house with people. These times you started an issue. I'm not even in an issue to fight you. So that's why it says, there will be, what's that? I will put enmity. And this is from Genesis 3:15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So we're completely adverse to the spirit of E. So that dude talking about how he feels more comfortable around Drake, because there's a spirit to feel comfortable. For all we know, he his paternal lineage goes back to Jake. And this is Exodus again 23:9. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. So Jake is in a completely different spirit, because you treat people with respect, but E doesn't have that in his spirit. Even though he's a stranger everywhere he goes, he oppresses strangers, and people in their own land, because his spirit is completely adverse to righteousness. He's a complete reprobate and a hypocrite, and we're not supposed to be like that. And being a hypocrite means that you judge spiritual matters physically. We're supposed to look at the spirit and know from someone's spirit whether or not they're good or bad. And quickly, there's this Benjamite woman, and she says, oh, not all white people are bad, but we all know they are the wicked. The ones that you don't think are bad, for all are Jake. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who go well. Shalom to the elect.